Hi aspirants, in my lecture number 11, which deals with current affairs, I will discuss the two articles which have appeared in leading newspaper The Hindu on 21st April 2021 and 24th April 2021 respectively, relevant from the Civil Services Mains Examination point of view. In this lecture, I will show how the articles which have appeared can be mapped or linked to GS Mains paper 2 and 3 respectively. These articles are sometimes value additions to what we study in GS Mains, and alternatively, probable questions can be framed for respective GS Mains paper 2 and 3 as well. We have scanned the leading dailies and selected articles which are important from the Civil Services Mains examination perspective. What we present in this lecture showcases our innovative ways to extract value from newspaper reading, especially articles. The first article which we have taken in this particular lecture is titled as A Low Carbon Future Through Sector-Led Change. The subtitle of this article is, In India, a sector-led, action-based approach could provide the framework to drive low-carbon transformation. This article appeared in The Hindu on 21st April 2021. Now, we will discuss the context of this article. First point, in the build-up to the Leaders' Climate Change Summit, organized by the United States this week, that is April 22nd, 23rd, there has been a flurry of articles about whether India should announce a net zero emissions target and by when. Second, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change report called for global carbon emissions to reach net zero by 2050. It calls for all countries to announce 2050 as the net zero target year. As a climate vulnerable country, India must also up its ante to contribute for limiting global temperature rise ideally below 1.5 degrees centigrade. While doing so, it should not lose sight of the history of global climate negotiations and its own developmental needs. Though a large country and economy, we are still a very poor country with a significant development deficit. For example, our per capita carbon emissions are less than half the world average. Now the question arises, what India must do? What would be the strategic imperative? First point, yet announcing an Indian 2050 net zero commitment risks taking on a much heavier burden of decarbonization than many wealthier and developed countries and could jeopardize or seriously compromise India's development needs. Second, we suggest an alternative path focused on concrete, near-term sectoral transformations through aggressive adoption of technologies that are within our reach and an earnest effort to avoid high carbon lock-ins. This is best accomplished by focusing on sectoral low-carbon development pathways that combine competitiveness, job creation, distributional justice, and low pollution in key areas where India is making rapid strides. This approach is directionally consistent with India moving towards net zero, which should be our long-term objective. Then we need to ponder how we should decarbonize the power sector. First, to achieve net zero emissions, a key piece of the puzzle is to decarbonize the electricity sector, which is the single largest source, about 40% of India's greenhouse gas emissions. Second, decarbonized electricity would also allow India to undertake transformational changes in urbanization and industrial development, for example, by expanding the use of electricity for transport and by integrating electric systems into urban planning. Third, our efforts in the electricity sector have focused on expanding renewable electricity capacity with targets growing by leaps and bounds from 20 gigawatt of solar to 175 gigawatt of renewable capacity by 2022, further growing to 450 gigawatt of renewable capacity by 2030. Then we move to the another point. India now needs to shift gears to a comprehensive reimagination of electricity and its role in our economy and society. One way to do this is to go beyond expanding renewables to limiting the expansion of coal-based electricity capacity. This will not be easy. Coal provides firm, dispatchable power and accounts for roughly 75% of electricity today, supports the economy of key regions, and is tied to sectors such as banking and railways. Now, what would be the ceiling for coal power? First, a first bold step would be to pledge that India will not grow its coal-fired power capacity beyond what is already announced and reach peak coal electricity capacity by 2030, while striving to make coal-based generation cleaner and more efficient. There is a strong rationale for this. First, coal is increasingly uneconomic, and phasing it out over time will bring local gains such as reduced air pollution aside from climate mitigation. Second, such a pledge would give full scope for the development of renewable energy and storage and send a strong signal to the investors. A second necessary step is to create a multi-stakeholder just transition commission representing all levels of government and the affected communities to ensure decent livelihood opportunities beyond coal in India's coal belt. This is necessary because the transition costs of a brighter low carbon future should not be borne by India's poor. Third, a low-carbon electricity future will not be realized without addressing existing problems of the sector such as the poor finances and management of distribution companies, which requires deep changes and overcoming entrenched interests. Finally, India will need to work hard to become a leader in technologies of the future such as electricity storage, smart grids, and technologies that enable the electrification of other sectors such as transportation. Through a careful partnership with the private sector, including tools such as production-linked incentives, India should use the electricity transition to aim for job creation and global competitiveness in these key areas. Now, how India should improve energy services. First, growing urbanization and uptake of electricity services offer a good opportunity to shape energy consumption within buildings through proactive measures. First subpoint, cooling needs are expected to increase rapidly with rising incomes and temperatures. Second, air conditioners, fans and refrigerators together consume about 60% of the electricity in households. Today, the average fan sold in the market consumes more than twice what an efficient fan does, and an average refrigerator about 35% more. India could set aggressive targets of say 80% of air conditioner sales and 50% of fan and refrigerator sales in 2030 being in the most efficient bracket. In addition to reducing greenhouse gas emissions, this would have the benefit of lowering consumer electricity bills. India can leverage this transition too as an opportunity to become a global leader in the production of clean appliances. Now we come to the final conclusions. Going further, India may even consider committed plausible pathways and timelines to achieving net zero emissions as part of its future pledges. India can also use this period to develop a strategic roadmap to enhance its own technology and manufacturing competence as part of the global clean energy supply chain. This can help to gain benefits of employment and export revenues. Such an integrated approach, which is ambitious, credible, and rooted in our developmental needs, including climate mitigation needs, will represent an ambitious, forward-looking and result-oriented India. Now we take up another article from the Hindu, which has appeared on 24th April 2021. The title of this article is Arise and Rejuvenate the Third Layer of Governance. The subtitle of this article is Political Acts Depriving People of Their Rights Must Stop and There Needs to be a Movement to Strengthen Panchayati Raj. We have taken up this article as today is the National Panchayati Raj Day. Now let us discuss the context of this article. The government must ensure that even the last man sitting in the remote corner of the last row should have access to the benefits of the plan. This is why it is crucial that strong local bodies are formed to enable genuine feasibility and execution. The Cholas were the pioneers in the formation of local bodies as part of a well-organized hierarchy to oversee the implementation of progressive plans. This might be an MCQ in the civil services exam. Now we move on to the history and journey of Panchayati Raj. First, the voice of the people is the voice of the God. The voice of the Panchayat is the voice of the people, is the quote attributed to Mahatma Gandhi. Second, Panchayati Raj ensures that the voices of the people are heard loud and clear. Third, realizing the seamless administration is impossible without power sharing, the British in 1884 passed the Madras Local Boards Act. Fourth, with this, the British formed unions in both the small towns and big cities and began to appoint members to ensure better administration. To a certain extent, this brought about positive changes in basic parameters such as health and hygiene. Now we move to the next point. With the advent of Gram Panchayat laws in 1920, people over 25 years of age were bestowed with the right to vote and choose their Panchayat members. Even though Gandhiji was constantly laying emphasis on the importance of autonomously ruled villages, the idea received constitutional recognition only in 1992. It was only after the 73rd Amendment in the 90s that the Panchayati Raj law came into force. This was the law that brought about massive turning points such as, first, the initiation of Gram Sabha, second, a three-tier Panchayati Raj methodology of governance, third, reservation for the downtrodden and the women, fourth, consistency in economic development, fifth, local body elections once in 5 years, sixth, the formation of the State Election Commission, seventh, Finance Commission, and eighth, power to draft the rules and responsibilities of the Panchayat. Another point is the regions which were better equipped with basic facilities and which were more developed than the villages were brought under one coordinated body, namely the municipality. We have also observed the district capitals were further slotted into a combined parameter, namely the corporation. The administration was transferred to the people from the politicians and other officials. The lofty dream of Gandhiji to make each village of independent India a republic organization and to reiterate that the autonomous administration of villages should be made the foundation of the entire country's administration. Gandhiji laid stress on the active participation of the people in governance. Now we will discuss what is the ideal platform. First, for seemingly trivial and easily resolvable issues, the villages did not have to seek the assistance of the state or the central government. Gram Sabhas could and can be the platform to resolve such issues. Besides, Gram Sabhas can be convened as and when the necessity arises. Every Gram Sabha meeting ensures the equal right to highlight the issues that disrupt life. In addition to this, the elected members of the Panchayat are obliged to read out the financial statements and balance sheet to ensure transparency. Then what is the reality? The decisions taken during a Gram Sabha meeting and the proposed solution with a feasible deadline are potent and powerful. Unfortunately, the reality today is that Gram Sabhas have become more like auction houses. Even though the government announced that people's opinion would be considered, it went ahead and conducted meetings which were marked by poor attendance and poor representation from the people. Even then, the government went ahead with the approval of projects which are impediments to normal life. The truth is that, keeping in mind a single goal of profit, politicians hold negotiations with the officials. Several projects are being implemented for the benefit of private and corporate entities. Sadly, in this age, women do not find themselves in major administrative roles in the local bodies, though on paper, women are shown to be a considerable force. Now we take Kerala as an example. The state of Kerala has been diligently working towards ensuring the proper use of allotted funds and ensuring the efficiency of administration and eligible member appointments. First, to ensure efficiency. The sub-points are: we need to strengthen our Gram Sabhas, hold area Sabhas in cities, form ward committees, hold online panchayat meetings, ensure decent remunerations to panchayat chiefs and councillors, and also bestow the Gram Sabha with the power to revoke appointed members and representatives. These steps are what will ensure real growth in the state. The state-appointed corporation commissioner faces mammoth challenges when a member of the opposition party takes charge as a mayor. The constant and meaningless conflicts between the ruling party and the mayor from the opposition party make it impossible for the corporation commissioners to execute what was agreed upon in a meeting. The same treatment is meted out to municipal councillors and district councillors. Now we come to the conclusion. We must collectively ensure that Panchayati Raj should be strengthened. This should be the outcome of a people's movement. Gandhiji's belief was that the voice of people will resolve what violence can never be successful in resolving. Let the people's voices be heard. We should also note that every year, April 24 is celebrated as Panchayati Raj Day. Now, on the basis of this article, we will discuss what would be the probable question on this particular topic. The question is, discuss with an example to make Panchayati Raj institutions an effective instrument of governance. I am just repeating. Discuss with an example to make Panchayati Raj institutions an effective instrument of governance. Before I sign off, do tune in for my next videos. Please share this video with your friends and subscribe in large numbers. We would request all the aspirants to enroll for Civil Services Mains Examination 2021 and Civil Services Prelims cum Mains Examination 2022. In case you require any clarification, you can contact with the telephone number given on my lecture. We really appreciate your encouragement and constructive suggestions. Thanks.